Hello and welcome if you are new to my channel. Also thanks if you are returning for more content. I hope you're well. Let's get started. So today we are going to look at the latest Taito Artist Masterpiece prize figure of Kitigawa Marin, dressed up in cosplay as Kuroe Shizuku. Marin is the female protagonist in the My Dress Up Darling anime series. Here she is cosplaying as Kuroe Shizuku, who is a character in Saint Slippery's Academy for Girls, a fictional dating simulator game in the anime. Now that you know who's who and what's what, let's see Taito's take on Marin and her favorite video game character. For this Kitigawa Marin cosplaying as Kuroe Shizuku figure, Taito had chosen to faithfully recreate one of the poses Marin makes for her love interest Gojo Wakana, after the latter had given her the cosplay costume that he himself had sewn. It's a pose which has Marin kneeling in a demure way, yet with a contradictory come-hither look. The front box art captures this look from an almost perfect angle. Now the Japanese title actually has a slightly different meaning, that is, the dress-up bisque doll falls in love, which explains why the Japanese title is so much longer than the English one. And as you can see here, most of the other box art features more close-up views of Marin. This kind of hints at Taito's confidence in having created a figure with good details and likeness. Anyway, let's go ahead and unbox Marin in her cosplay form now and see if Taito can keep their excellent run of highly rated AMP Plus figures going. So no surprises here, as Taito has used the usual combo of plastic blisters and wrappings to protect figure and its accessories as well as base. It has been effective in keeping their figures safe. At this stage of the unboxing, I can already spot some rather unique and detailed accessories included with the figure. Let me just cut the tape holding the blisters together and show you what I mean. Based on my experience so far, protection for pre-painted figures generally come in two types. That is either the bubble wrap variety or the plastic blisters and wrappings combo variety. Marin comes complete in one piece, sans any need for assembly. Here we have one of the unique accessories that I touched upon earlier. We'll look at that in detail later. Lastly, we have the plastic base upon which Marin will sit, wrapped in his own plastic bag. And as usual, the price we pay for good protection is lots of plastic to remove. So please bear with me as I get the base out from its plastic wrappings. At least the base Marin is getting is more complex than the ones found in your average price figure. From this top-down view, it's certainly large enough to contain Marin without her spilling out from the boundaries. As you can clearly see here, there are only 3 parts to this Taito AMP Plus figure. Yet there's an incredible amount of detail to each, as you'll soon see. We'll start with Marin herself, and if you look closely, you'll spot a small plastic protective film covering yet another unique accessory that's essential to Marin's cosplay character. Before I explain what that is, I'll have to remove that protective film first. Essentially, as you can see here, is 2 thin sheets of plastic film pressed together with the accessory located in between. What I'm trying to do now is to pry the 2 sheets of plastic film apart, but it's actually difficult to do with gloves on. Maybe I'll try prying them apart using this hobby knife instead. Now, why do I feel like I'm going to cut my fingers instead? So, nope, that didn't work. Okay, so what I think I'll do instead is to cut away as much of the protective film as possible using a pair of scissors so that I can get the edges of the film as close to the accessory as I can without actually cutting into it. This is so that I can have better purchase on the edges of the film, thus allowing me to pry them apart more easily, like what you see me trying to do here. Now, I don't think so that's enough. It's not close enough to the accessory yet for me to get good purchase on the edges of the film. So I've tried to cut it even closer yet to the accessory. And there, finally, it took a while, but the protective film is now off. and we can take a look at what it is that Taito took great pains to protect. And wow, it's a metal chain that's connected to a collar on her neck. That's certainly an impressive piece of accessory that's in keeping with the character Marin is cosplaying, namely Kuroe Shizuku, who is a character found in an eroge video game. The details on this metal chain is incredible. Just look at all those individual chain links and at this scale too. I can see why Taito would want to protect it from damage the way that they did. I'm trying to get the chain as zoomed in as possible without losing camera focus so that you can see the accessory clearly. Now as for the rest of the figure, I find my attention being drawn to Marin's cosplay costume, which makes sense seeing that the cornerstone and focal point of Marin's cosplay was, well, her Kuroe Shizuku eroge costume. A cursory glance reveals multi-layered as well as multi-textured parts or section that gives the impression of an eroge costume or dress that has an extremely complex design, a complexity that is geared towards faithfully recreating Shizuku's dress. This likeness to the eroge character extends beyond her dress to details like the figure's face, as well as the tattoo found on her inner thighs, all of which are unique not to Marin, but to the character she's cosplaying, that is Kuroe Shizuku. This insane amount of detail and the dress is like a sundae ice cream, with the cherry on top being the metal chain connected to her neck collar. That's the figure of Marin in full cosplay. Yet another fantastic detail we have is a miniature recreation of Gojo Wakana's dress design or fashion sketch ideas for the Kuroe Shizuku cosplay costume. Hopefully you can make out the incredible details on this sculpture of a paper sketch. There's nothing on the back as the drawings are only on the front. Lastly, we have the ginormous purple round base, which is the floor futon mattress that Marin kneels on while she's having pictures of herself in cosplay taken. Color-wise, the base is a boring monotone light violet, but it does have nicely sculpted details on it, including the imprint of her legs and thighs, as well as the mattress stitchings. Now that we have gotten a quick close-up look at all of her details, let's now put all the parts together. For this particular Taito AMP Plus offering, it's not so much an assembly process, but more of a placing process, if you will. Let me show you what I mean. The leg and thigh imprints on the mattress forms a guide to help you correctly position Marin when you place her on the mattress. However, it's not a secure pack and hold type connection, so Marin will fall off the base if you tilt it at an acute enough angle. The only thing that's preventing Marin from falling off at this point is my fingers pressing her against the base. It's even less of a precise placement for the drawing or sketch paper part, as I can place it anywhere on the futon mattress that Marin isn't sitting on. The obvious disadvantage is that the said part falls readily from the base when the whole thing is being handled like it is now. A simple solution to this would be to apply some adhesive or glue tack on the back of the paper part before placing it on the mattress or base. Anyway, let's move on to a full 360-degree view of her. Having the thigh and leg imprints on the floor futon mattress helps ensure that Marin is seated securely on the tilted base without sliding off it. It also ensures there's only one true way she can be placed on the mattress, thus taking out any guesswork for her optimal display position on the base. Without a doubt, the inclusion of a miniature metal chain with links that look accurate even at this scale was a masterstroke by Taito for this AMP Plus figure. Kuroe Shizuku's elaborate costume aside, the metal chain embodies the eroge nature of the character Marin is cosplaying. Without the chain, I would go so far as to say that the cosplay costume would be losing its key feature, its soul if you will. And as for the Kuroe Shizuku cosplay costume itself, the multi-layered and multi-textured dress tells me that Taito understood the cosplay costume is the undisputed star of the show. It was a dress that Marin's love interest Gojo Wakana had painstakingly researched and meticulously sewn together. As such, it was crucial for Taito to properly recreate the complexity of the dress. Then of course we have the likeness factor, which Taito has yet again excelled at. While it's not perfect, as her hair is not purple as it should be, it's black with some purple in her fringes. Marin's facial features do spot the correct purple eye color context and heavy blush makeup on her cheeks. As such, Marin's face accurately resembles that of Kuroe Shizuku. From this slightly top-down 360-degree view, we actually get a better view of not only the paper sculpture with the fashion sketch ideas, as well as the floor futon mattress, but also of the cosplay costume itself. Now, the base is pretty plain color-wise, with the futon mattress molded in a monotone violet hue only. But at least the molded details are representative of what one looks like in real life. Meanwhile, having the sketch designs printed on a plastic part molded to look like a piece of paper is a nice touch that adds to the theme of this Taito AMP Plus prize figure, which is all about the Kuroe Shizuku costume that Marin is cosplaying. Details of the costume that makes it unique, all the way from a hairband that looks like a Neapolitan or poke bonnet, to the skirt hem and shoulder frills, the elongated sleeves, the ribbon bow on her back, and the lace-like material on her waist and stockings. All these details on her predominantly black, grey and violet dress make for a compelling recreation of Kuroe Shizuku's eroge costume or dress. Apart from Marin's skin tone, the only other warm hue is the red roses on her headband. On the whole, the Taito AMP Plus figure lacks any shading apart from the blushes on her cheeks. Instead, the complexity arises from the different color and textures of the figure. To truly appreciate this Taito AMP Plus figure of Kitigawa Marin cosplaying as Kuroe Shizuku, it helps if you have at least seen and enjoyed the My Dress Up Darling anime, or if you are a fan of female characters with a Lolita gothic look. It's not a figure you would pick up based on its bright vivid color scheme. And when a pre-painted figure does not have access to a lively warm color palette in order to catch the figure collector's eye, then it will have to resort to other ways such as complexity of design and texture, as well as accuracy in recreating a beloved manga or anime character in miniature form. And with these goals in mind, Taito has yet another hit on their hands in the premium prize figure category. Foremost to catch my eye was the metal chain tied to her neck collar. That was par excellence in attention to detail. She has an excellent likeness factor with great details pre-painted on her face. Example, her large eyes with purple contacts, her small pursed lips, and heavily blushed cheeks. And while I would have preferred actual lace material to adorn her hairband, waist and stockings, that's perhaps asking too much for a prize figure, introducing quality control issues as well as higher costs of production. While it's a missed opportunity for sure, it's mitigated by Taito's decision to use different textures to mimic her disparate items of clothing. In this, Taito did a great job, so much so that the cosplay costume looks like it's made out of dissimilar materials layered on top of each other. Another positive is of course the drawing and sketch of the dress design. However, one key downside to this figure is its complete lack of paint shading. Most of everything has been molded in monotone hues with the exception of the blush on her cheeks. What saves her from looking bland is the incredible amount of sculpted detail. While it would have been great to have both shading and sculpted detail, I believe Taito made the right choice in choosing the latter if they could have picked only one. After adding all the pros and cons to the rating scale, I'm going to give this Taito Artist Masterpiece Plus figure of Kitigawa Marin cosplaying as Kuroe Shizuku a rating of Diamond or A rank. While her almost complete lack of shading and the color inaccuracy of her hair are sore points that stick out if you are a stickler for color quality, it's not enough to demote her to a lower ranking. If you are a fan of My Dress Up Darling, then you should definitely consider adding this Taito AMP Plus figure to your collection, bearing in mind that it's not Kitigawa Marin per se, but her cosplaying as a character in an eroge video game in the anime. That's it for this review. Thanks for watching and hit the subscribe button if you liked it. Till we meet again, be well and be happy.